Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again for another exclusive learning experience. Now, this particular learning experience, as you know, everything I've been doing so far, I've been putting my telephone on a tripod and been having you at the whiteboard. And next couple of sessions that I'm going to be teaching, I'm going to have to be using a teleprompt, which means I'm going to have to open up the real software and I'm going to have to show you what goes on how to program your radio equipment. And I want to show you what the computer does as part of how you should program your radios when you are a non-licensed operator. Now, I would like to teach you how to program your little radios like this for non-licensed radio communication. And I want to show you how to do that properly without, so you don't get in trouble by the FCC for doing things improperly. Now that's not going to be on this video here. It will be in some other videos coming up before long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some information in this video. I'm just going to basically talk in this video. I'm not really going to do much on the board on this video. But what I'm going to tell you is on my website, I'm sad that you can't really see how my website is written out up there. I need to make that website look better so you can see it better. I will write that on the board. Okay, this is www.rcg. Okay, now this website, it is a .com. So therefore, all these videos that I'm making, I place them on the website. Okay? So www.Worldwide Radio Communications Group. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the website, because it's basically what this is. This is a talking video where I'm not really using the board on this one. So what I want to talk to you about is I am working on building a website, and some of you probably are thinking, well, if you've already been on the website, you probably don't see a whole lot of stuff on there. You're not going to see a whole lot of stuff right now. I'm still building and on stuff on the website. I'm also working on affiliations, and I'm also working on being an affiliate of some other sites to produce sales from the website, which you'll be able to click on the item, and it's what it's going to do. It's going to give you a promo code, and that code or link that you will click will take you to the website, and I can get a commission for that particular sale when you complete the sale, complete the purchase. And therefore, that is somewhat what the website is going to be, but that's going to be in the store portion of the website. That is not going to be in the information and school side of the website. So I've got the schooling stuff that's going to be in one part of the website, and I've got the information part that's going to be in another part of the website. Due to the simple fact that I don't want to get y'all confused, but before you buy the equipment of which I'm promoting and I am getting commission off of the sales, I need you to understand what this equipment does, and I need you to understand what's legal about it and what is not legal about it. That way, it's like I'm giving you a worded policy. Okay, I know it's not written out like it should, but I am giving you instructions by mouth how to use this equipment, what you can use it for, how you can use it. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over, but that's okay. I want it to be up here and not just right here and you don't know nothing. I want it to really sink in, sort of, as they say. Now, because this stuff is very, very important, and you need to know it. It's not just pick up a radio, throw some frequencies in it, boom, you got communications, you can talk. No, it is not like that whatsoever. A lot of people throw frequencies in there, and that, like these big companies and stuff like that, they'll have this guy that's supposedly their radio in charge of their radio stuff to communicate in the mills and what they call it, industrial parks and stuff like that. Well, what these cats will do is they'll get the bright idea to put frequencies in there, and then they'll get to talking on them, and they'll wind up talking on public safety, for crying out loud. Or they'll wind up talking on ham frequencies, or they'll be talking on GMRS frequencies, and they won't even know it. All they know is the communications is conducted with the radio, and they can talk to the other person, and the other person can hear them, and then the other person's talking back to them. And the whole group can understand what's being said over the radio, not knowing anything where the operations of the radio frequencies and what bands are being analyzed to conduct these communications. Now, these radios that normally do this, that you see in work sites, you see like at Home Depot, you see at Walmart and stuff like that, all these radios are supposed to be Part 90 to Part 95 compliant with the FCC. So therefore, the Part 90 radios, they have a number keypad on the front of their display, right up under the display, that tells you the where you're at. Now, what I mean by display, okay, what I mean by number pad. Okay, you see all this right here? This is all worn down because I use it a lot. This right here is a Part 90 radio, okay? If this was a Part 95 radio, you would not see anything but this right here. A Part 95 radio, that's all you would see. Very little. It takes out the number pad, is what it does. And the reason why it does that is because they don't want people changing frequencies and changing settings inside the radio and getting off on some other bizarre setup somewhere that's not part of the company's frequencies that they're using, that they're borrowing to use from the FCC. And remember, these frequencies do not belong to the companies that are actually using these frequencies. They may have a license that allows them to use that frequency, and they may have a license call sign of that frequency as a business frequency. So you got to watch out for that too as well, because some of these like brown dots, red dots, those type frequencies that are in the free communicational network, you see a whole big list when you go to look at FRS and MERS and StarDot, JDOT and all that stuff. There may be a FCC license requirement for one of those frequencies to be able to be used, which means you are regulated a certain amount of power. So you need to understand all this stuff before you even go out and you buy one of these little $35 rigs or $25 rigs, depending on where you want to spend your money. That's why I'm putting stuff on the website so you know where to be, what to use it for, if it's licensed, required, or not, and what your wattage capability is supposed to be. Now, this is to help keep you out of trouble. You don't want to be in trouble operating in the wrong position. There has been times where they have actually put frequencies in that talk to the federal government. Now, you go and put a federal government frequency in a radio and you're on your work site, guess what? They are going to hear your traffic. Because what has happened is these people get the digital radios. They think, oh, this is a better radio. Everybody's going digital. And what happens is they somehow or another get on the digital same platform, even if they do it intentionally or non-intentionally. They get on there and they start talking. And they wind up getting on a platform and a frequency zone that they should have never put in the radio whatsoever. Now, there has been cases where that has actually happened. And they was told by FCC and observers and what they call the, what do they call that guy? Sometimes it's a girl, sometimes it's a guy. It's called a locator. The locators. Now, locators are part of the FCC. Okay, they're practically an FCC officer. They go out and they find out signals that are interfering with the Public Safety Division. And they will knock on your door, and they can and will write you a fine and also put you in jail. They have that type of enforcement right. So therefore, just because you've got a radio that you can punch a frequency in does not mean that you can just punch in whatever you want and start talking. And let me tell you something else too. You don't realize this, but some of these radios that are the newer ones, or some of even the older ones, carry a GPS chip. And when you are transmitting, you are also transmitting a GPS location. And when you are transmitting a GPS location, they will pinpoint your traffic right smack right there. They know exactly where you're transmitting from. They know exactly your longitude and latitude. All they got to do is zoom in with their patrol units, snatch you up, and throw you in jail if you are operating in the illegal area. Now, what I mean by illegal area, I'm talking about illegal frequencies that you are not allocated to be transmitting on. Now, therefore, you've got to know what you're doing, know where you're at. That's why it's so highly important for you as an operator or as a listener to know what's going on. So, therefore, the Baofeng UV5R, which has been around for so long, it's had a lot of bad cred. It's also had some good cred too, but it's had more bad cred than it has good, because of the Part 95, Part 90 scenario. Because of it going outside of the amateur radio band. It was made for the amateur radio band to stay in the amateur radio band, but there's been a software that's been developed shortly after the radio was developed. There was a software developed that enabled the radio to be unlocked and be able to go outside of the amateur bands and be able to be used its whole entire frequency spectrum from top to bottom. Both bands that are in the radio, it was able to transmit all the frequencies. And that is not a good idea unless you know where you're transmitting, you know what the legalities are, you know what your setup is, and you know and you trust where you're at is correct. Now, if you're just sitting there and just throwing in frequencies and making channels in your radio, let me tell you, it don't matter if your CTCS is toned, it don't matter if your DCS toned, or PL toned, or running straight out open wave. Okay, open wave means no tone whatsoever. You're gonna get heard. One way or another, you're gonna get heard. Because scanners and other radio people are out there. They might not be as picky as some people, but you start interfering with something out there, they're going to look into it. and they're going to find where it's coming from. Okay? Now, there's people out there that's got a bunch of antennas on their trucks and a bunch of antennas on their SUVs. Watch out, because one of them may be looking for you. Because some of these guys are federal, some of these guys are local, but they do still have the credentials to shut your transmissions down. And they have the legal right to confiscate your equipment and take you to jail. And then charge you a hefty fine. These people are known as locators. Okay? Now, to be a locator, you've got to be very high up, okay, in communication. You've got to at least have all your NIMS. You've got to have license and be a license holder of the frequencies that's being conducted, okay? Also, you are funded by the government to make sure the repeaters and frequencies are operating diligently, okay? You're there to make sure that nobody is interfering, and if they are, your job is to go out and find it. So, therefore, that's your job. And if you are found, messing with the stuff, you're going to find yourself in a whole heap of trouble you can't even get out of. And if you're already a licensed operator and you're doing this, it's 30 times worse. So, anyway, that being said, alright, these little bell things, they're good radios, but take in mind, they can be dangerous as all get out to you and where you're transmitting. Okay? So, that's why there's sheets all over the internet. All over the internet. I'm making one of my own so you can have a direct copy of what exactly is supposed to be in radio and how it's supposed to be programmed in your radio. Now, like FRS, MERS, and these business frequencies and stuff like that. And I'll tell you too, I have run into this scenario. I've ordered packs of these Belfing radios. Let me tell you something. This is the stupidest thing that Belfing radio programmers done. Put pre-installed frequencies in the radio for you to the system up. And that is the dumbest thing that they've done. Now, I said there's not going to be no profanity in there. That's why I didn't say nothing. Because I wanted you to put your own words there. I'm not going to say anything. But I want you to really get the picture of just how stupid it really is. I mean, I've seen doggone MERS frequencies, public safety frequencies. I've seen GMRS frequencies. I've even seen frequencies for wireless microphones put in a Belfing radio for people to be able to just open up out of the package, throw the battery in and start transmitting. Okay? That's why you've got to be so cautious when you buy these radios. And Belfing has got to straighten that out. Because they just do. And then what happened is after these start coming out, this other brand called BTEC, they come out. Which BTEC brand of radios is similar to the Belfing. But what BTEC does is they take what is bad and they improve and make it correct. And they make the radio better. Okay? They make it more efficient. They make it, they do a whole lot more stuff that you just don't realize. But BTEC actually makes good radios. They got a 6x8 handheld radio that I believe is also digital. It's actually a real good radio. I don't own one myself, but word of mouth, it seems to be a good radio. I've got an Anytone 878. It is not the Plus version. Works great for what I need it for. Got Belfing UV5Rs. I got the Belfing 1801. So, I mean, I've got several stuff over here. I've also got Kenwood radios over here. I got 2 mobile rigs, one of which is good for GMRS. And I've got some other equipment that, I'm not really going to speak about right now. But I do have some other equipment that is commercial based. So, anyway, that being said, I'm about to go into a 26-minute interval, and then it'll start a new video. But I don't want it to start a new video. I want it to go straight in as this is, because this is a talking video. This is for you to understand things, and I'm going to put a lot of information on the website of what the do's and don'ts and what frequencies you should not have if you're not licensed. I'm going to make a note on there which frequency you must be required a license, and that way that you will know what license are required on. So therefore, I will also have on there which frequencies, and then the amount of powers on there, the TX power, which frequency after a certain amount of power requires you to have a license. I'll have that on there too as well. And there's some other charts out there that have this dilemma as well, but that's okay. You ain't seen my standard. You might see other people's standard, but that's okay. I do want you to pay attention to my standard and where I get my information, because I am a licensed operator, and you need to follow this before you wind up in the, as they say, in the Colonel Clinker. You've seen Hogan's Heroes, right? Well, you don't want to wind up there. I mean, not a good idea. To be on the TV show, yeah. But you don't want to be truly in the clinger. Alrighty. Catch y'all later.